Hey you guys, it's me Kiana coming at you today, and I am coming at you. Um, just wanted to talk. Um, Lately, you guys, you have seen that I've been sharing more. Um, I wouldn't say sharing more. I would say sharing differently, because we all have a life that we put out there for others to see and to view, and then we have our own private lives. That's normal for any of us, whether you do vlogs or not. That's just normal. And I know that there has been a huge shift in what I share, but it may seem overnight to you, when it's been like that for maybe a year or two. Sometimes in some cases only a couple of months. But the point being is that, and the point I'm trying to make is that, if something seems drastic or sudden, doesn't mean that that is necessarily the case. It may mean that you're firmly seeing what they have lived or how they've thought all along. I'm going to repeat that because I know that people hear and see what they want, and they're going to totally not acknowledge what I said, and they're going to still probably think that, things have happened or was said overnight, and now all of a sudden what's going on with Kiana. A lot of things has been in the works for months. A lot of things has been in the works for a year or two. And I'm referring to my way of thinking. I did a video saying that you guys aren't ready for me to really share my ascension. And someone said, what do you mean by ascending? Ascended. You've ascended. Well, exactly what that means is to uprise or to rise up. And I do feel like in my spirit that I have went to another level, another dimension. I'm not saying that I'm the only one who can do this, I'm the prophet. No, it's not that. I believe that we all possess this ability. We all come into it at whatever time of our lives. It may be different from the next person, but we all arrive to this level. I believe that in order for us to transcend, I think that we have to go through this metaphors. We have to go through this process. So when I say you're not ready, I'm saying that because a lot of people, I know it's hard, you guys, and I was like that at one point as well, so I don't really hold it against people, because I too was there. I too was wrapped up in bondage and judgment and all of those things, because we all do it. Whether you want to admit it or not, we all do it. It's just that some of us are more encased by it than others. Some of us are meant to be free spirits, and some of us are meant to think outside the box, and some of us are meant to be different from everyone else. Some of us go against the grain and don't mind doing it. Some of us do it without explanation. Some of us do it without effort. Some of us do it because this is us living in our truth and living in our light. And again, I wasn't always there, so I don't expect everyone around me to always be there exactly where I am at, and when I actually get there. But in one of my chronicle videos, if you haven't watched them, they are on my page, my front page. I actually am going through almost all 3,000 videos and trying to put them in categories for you guys, because at my channel, you're going to see a wide variety of so many different things. And I've always said this, so this isn't new to my viewers hearing this, but I've always believed that the reason why my channel cannot be put in a box or a specific genre, because the reason that you can't is because I am a direct reflection of today's woman, which is one who has to know a little bit of everything, has to know a little how to do a little bit of everything, has to know how to juggle a little of everything. And I think that I'm not rare in that aspect. I think we all, in some way, shape, or form, have that role today. So my channel is not going to be just about wigs, or it's not going to be just about the the new spring collection of Milani. It's not going to be about how to care for your natural hair. It's not going to only just be about cooking, or only be about healthy cooking, or only be about losing weight, or only be about my weight loss surgery, or only be about my depression. It's not going to be only one of those things. But what it's going to be is, it's going to be just like our everyday lives, which is ups and downs, turns and corners that we have to maneuver through. And that's the thing called life. So what I share with purpose. I share because it's a form of therapy for me. I share because I enjoy logging my journey so that I can also go back on it. And I also share others getting inspiration, motivation, releasing, any tension they may have, maybe getting a little, chuckle in every now and then. When we need to let out and release our pain, we cry together. I hope that you guys understand that I share all of these things with purpose. And I had talked briefly in my Chronicle video about something that I know people are going to be like, are you for real? Like, when did you start doing this or believe in this? Or and the truth of the matter is, I've believed it for a long time now. And I'm just now sharing some of it with you guys. I said, I just briefly, I just skimmed over, and I think it went over a lot of people's heads. But in my Chronicle video, I was talking about how I believe in polygamy. And I know that's quite a shocker for some of you. For those of you who are Christian and are my Christian audience members, it shouldn't be such a shock, being that you are advanced, so to speak, or a mature Christian, meaning that you understand and know the word. You've seen this throughout the Bible, so this isn't something that is a huge shock. It may be a huge shock coming from me, but it's most certainly not a huge shock of believing in it. He's on his way, hon. So I wanted to talk about what do I believe as far as it's complicated, because it takes a complicated, I wouldn't say complicated person. It takes a person that really is open with themselves, open with others, unapologetic in their living, and they let their heart guide them as far as to finding and to live in their happiness. It's not for everybody. And when I say it's, I'm referring to the polygamy. It's not for everybody, because not everybody can handle it. Because it is, we got ego in the way. We, as women, we have emotions, of course. Men are more ego-driven. We're more emotion-driven. And sometimes those things are going to clash. To be honest, a lot of men, the majority of men, I would even say, dare I say that, but I really do mean that, the majority of men can't handle that situation anyway. So it's not feasible. It's not something that you should look into, or even to consider. It's not something that you would even consider if you can't supply the needs of more than one wife or spouse. And it's not really about the sex for me. Maybe because that's a woman. I'm a woman, and sometimes men, when they have this way of thinking, it's oftentimes geared towards the plethora of sex that they'll be able to have, and the variety they'll be able to have. But for me, it's more of a community thing, building. For me, it's more of a free-spirited thing, because I truly believe in my heart, you guys. Again, this video is not going to be liked by everybody, but yet they still watch. But anyway, I don't believe that my heart is placed on this earth to just love one or two people. I do believe that we go through seasons, we go through changes, and I do believe that I have so much love inside of me that I can love another and still give this person love too. It's all about what everybody is aware of. It's all about figuring out something that works, a plan that works out for you guys. And it's all about being true to yourself and to others, even if it's going to come with consequence. A lot of people, a lot of us, we claim we're big and bad, but we fear consequence. We fear consequence, especially when it's with a significant other. So we do things and make things worse out of that fear. When if we just go ahead and tell the truth anyway and go ahead and face the consequences, is actually, for one, you still have the person's respect. For two, you should have your own self-respect and dignity. And it's just the only way to go to have long-term success in a situation like this. As far as sexual, I believe that you can have loves, and your connection can be so deep with that person that you can look them in their eyes and feel their passion just by looking at you. And if this person is who you have spiritually connected with, they can see the same thing when you're looking at them. And that magnetic pull, that electricity, that can be better than the sexual act of making love. Because the sexual act of making love you can get from anybody. You can get anybody to have sex, open their legs, lay on their back, or whatever. You can get anybody to do that. Okay? But to have that drawn magnetic connection, that is a rarity. And quite frankly, that is something that I can't live without. Even if I could live without it, I choose not to live without it. So, this is why I do believe in either polygamy or open marriages. Now, I'll talk about the issue as far as the sexual issues or the sexual aspect on another video. If you guys want me to talk about that, if you guys are ready for me to talk about that, then thumbs up this video and also put it in the comment section. Because the fact remains, if it's not received, I've always said this, if certain things are not received in the respectful manner that I'm giving it to you, if I don't get that in return, then it's pointless for me to share it. Because after all, I'm only sharing it because I want you guys to understand there are other things out there than what we may see in our own little bubble. There's other things or ways to think other than what we have seen or heard or experienced in our bubble. So, the sexual aspect for me now I'm only speaking for me, is not as important as that magnetic connection. For me, and what I've termed it. Now, I'm not talking about what the Bible terms it, or I'm not talking about what Dr. Oz or whoever the famous psychiatrists or doctors are saying. I'm speaking on me and my mindset and what I believe and how I feel. For me, that magnetic pull I speak of, it's very powerful. For one, you may only experience that level of love. It's very rare that you'll experience it in your life, especially more than once. Again, you'll have loves in your life throughout your lifetime, but to have a certain kind of love that it's just real powerful, you guys. To have that, it's nothing like it. That's why when people talk about like Will Smith and Jada and who else they talk about that they say have an open marriage, Monique and her husband, when people judge and snicker and laugh about their relationship, meanwhile yours is falling apart. Meanwhile you're not happy. Meanwhile the divorce rate is still going higher and higher and higher. And the very people that you're laughing at because they may think differently than you have a successful relationship. Not one without conflict and not one without issues, but it's still thriving. And you have to sit down and just think about that. Why that actually is. What are they doing so differently than what the majority is doing, which is going to the courthouse and getting a divorce? Something is being done differently. And yet they're still able to smile with each other. Still able to go out and take pictures and experience things and movies and premieres and stuff together. They're still able to do that. Meanwhile, the people that were laughing are arriving alone. Go figure. But there are other issues. It's a lot that needs to be considered because you can believe in something and not actively do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if both parties don't think the same way, you're going to have to make a decision either to do it or to not do it. If both parties are not on the same playing field or the same level of thinking. So just because you believe in something or you have a certain way of thinking doesn't mean that you have to actively do it. So because there's so many other layers and so many other aspects one has to consider, they have to consider children. Are you going to produce children with other people that are in the polygamous relationship? Are you going to all live together? Are you going to all live apart? Are you going to live in different states? Are you going to live are all the children going to live with you? Have y'all come together and said that y'all not going to have any children with that union? It's a lot of things to consider. And they're very you have to be very mindful and careful how you're going to play that out, because you have to understand that you're going to be affecting others, not just yourself. Again, if there's children involved, if there's a sister wife or the main wife, or some areas in Africa and stuff like that, they believe in having they can have multiple husbands as long as the husbands know about each other and all of that. I found that interesting as well. But yeah, so yeah, that's just how I think. I can get more in depth about this. What I would do is, if y'all want me to really, really get down to the nitty gritty, and to could be, see, I'm still trying to hold back some things. I know you guys can probably tell that, but I'm only doing it because of how you guys act. Stop acting up, and I'll give y'all more. Stop acting up, and I'll share more with y'all. So stop letting the thumbs downers win. Take time to thumbs up a video every now and then. Since you riding with me, since you want to know all my business. I'm playing, but I'm not. But yeah. So if you guys want to hear more about how I do believe in open marriages and how I do believe in polygamy, to be honest, I believed in polygamy for quite some time. But it's not something that is freely accepted, even though so many are doing it unknowingly. It's like there's a conscious polygamy and an unconscious polygamy. Which one you rather have? Sign me up for conscious polygamy for 500, please. But anyway, all right, Chuck is home, and I'm gonna go ahead and go. But yeah, I thought this was a good conversation. And you know what? You never know. See, this is the thing. You never know what you're seeing. You never know what somebody is doing. You never know how someone is living. You never know. But the great thing is, there are some people out there that are okay with who they are and others seeing it as well. It's something that happens gradually. It's a growth. Not everybody arrive at the same time. But all that matters is that you arrive. Alright, you guys. I will talk to you guys later. And Shabbat Shalom.